Mattel treats camera cars from the first Cars movie is pretty interesting in my opinion. We got a ton of them released back in 2009 and 2010, putting out nearly every camera car that appeared in the Meet the Cars book or the Car Finder game. Some of them, like Cora Copper here, were cancelled and re-released in a later year, and then after that, they've just sort of been re-releasing all of the old camera cars while sporadically adding one or two new ones every few years that weren't in the Meet the Cars book and are pulled from somewhere else in the background of the movie. It's a very similar strategy, I feel, to how they treat the Radiator Springs flashback cars. Think about it. In 2008, 2009, 2010, we got a ton of those, mainly ones that were featured in Meet the Cars or Car Finder. A few of them were canceled, like, say, Percy Handbrakes and Mildred Bylane, and they were re-released in later years. And then after that, they've just sort of occasionally been releasing new ones from other parts in the background of the movie who didn't have Meet the Cars bios, like Jonas Rivera or Nikki B. And that always makes it sort of special to me whenever we get a new camera car from the first Cars movie, because we never really get more than one at once, with the exception of the two camera cars we got back in 2021. So it's always nice to get a new camera car, and Cora Copper here was, I believe, the only new camera car released in her release year of 2014 in the RSN series, with the exception of Nelson Blindspot, who was a deluxe. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Cora Copper, a originally canceled release who finally came out in the 2014 RSN series. This is the only year they did an RSN series. Like a lot of the earlier Cars series, it later got folded into a series that made more sense. Like, cars from this series would later go on to be in, like, the Race Fan series or the LA Speedway series, and I don't know, I think those are more appropriate because this series was just kind of a jumbled mess of miscellaneous race fans and reporters. But we got Cora's artwork up there. I'm really not a fan of the 2014 style packaging. It doesn't leave much room for an image of the character. There's so much just white and red space here. I don't know, even the 2013 packaging looks a bit better. I think it's because this added the World of Cars logo. I think this was to try to capitalize on planes. Because of her camera, she has even less space in the artwork here, because there's a big old warning label. Make sure you don't choke on the camera. Okay, this right here, do not put it in your mouth. Do you understand? RSN, Racing Sports Network, she was number 6 of 8. On the back, when the racing heats up, the enthusiastic play-by-play from RSN reporters brings another level of excitement to race day. And as you can see on the back here, yeah, it's kind of an awkward assortment of camera cars and race fans. We got Cora, we have Nelson Blindspot, who was new for this year, Chuck Choke Cables, Todd Pizza Planet Truck, Timothy Two-Stroke, and Matthew True Blue McCrew. Again, race fans like this were then later folded on into other series like the Race Fan series. Although they did try to do a reporter series, a Piston Cup reporter series, and a World Grand Prix reporter series in 2017, but that, of course, was cut short due to the release of Cars 3, and because of it, there are several Cars 2 reporters we still haven't gotten to this day, which is pretty sad, because we only have, like, Nick Cartone, right? Anyway, here is Cora out of the package. She's a very unique mold, very unique-looking camera car. She is similar to some of the other ones in terms of, like, color scheme. I think it's easy to get her confused with other cars, but I don't know. I think she looks pretty cool. She has a pretty unique shape. She has two massive peg holes there to fit in the camera. Nowadays, oftentimes, as of the Thailand switchover, they will typically pre-assemble the camera, but that wouldn't have fit in the blister for Cora. Unfortunately, she has a mouth plate. You could tell she was supposed to be released in like 2009 or 2010, so yeah, unfortunately they didn't fix the mouth plate on her, which I honestly think is kind of funny that they went out of their way to choose to re-release her and put her fully into production, but they didn't fix the mouth plate, which, I don't know, is unfortunate, but I don't really have that big a problem with mouth plates on most cars. They're not that apparent, unless, of course, you're talking about the 2021 Finish Line McQueen. Ew. Anyway, pretty generic expression there. I just really like her model. It's very unique. She's like a very wide but short car. It's pretty interesting. It sort of goes into what I've said in in past videos where a lot of the background cars in the first Cars movie are really a lot more exaggerated compared to the more realistic car designs in the later films. And her license plate is an Easter egg. It's A113CA. A113, of course, is a reference to... You guys all know this, obviously. As we all know, A113 is a reference to the room in California Institute of the Arts that several Pixar animators learned at. There is a look at the other side. There is just a closer look at the camera. I don't know if this camera accessory was reused. I think every camera was sort of molded specially for who's supposed to hold it. I think it's kind of funny there's a peg sticking out here as if it's supposed to connect into her wheel, but it can't, or else the wheel wouldn't roll. Maybe we could try to push it closer so it looks a bit more like that. But yeah, there we go. Finally, there is a look at her base. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye now.